Just a Warm with your hosts, Ann Jeanette.
And Jess.
In this week's episode, we are talking about the world of BDSM.
Oh.
And
Scandalous.
things to do with that lifestyle and, you know.
I like how you're getting all like church lady about it.
Can't talk about these.
We're hoping to kind of go over the lifestyle in general, and there's so many different things that go into the lifestyle. There's no way we could talk about all of it in one episode. So this is going to be a very umbrella blanket kind of statement, but hopefully to misspell any misinterpretations or
Misspell?
misspell. What is wrong with me?
I don't know.
Correct me, please.
Baby, you know I will. Dispel any
Thank you.
rumors, kind of cover up any misconceptions. Cover up? Uncover.
That's not as bad as misspell.
Yeah.
Any misconceptions.
But uncover any misconceptions.
Yes.
We've been brain addled recently.
Yeah.
I anyway have had a lot of lack of oxygen to the brain because I've been sick.
I've just been really stressed in so many different aspects of my life.
Yeah, so
I think we're all distracted by current world events, but yeah.
Yeah. It seems like the world's in the shitter right now, so
Yeah.
might as well have some fun. But I guess the segment that we wanted to start off our episode is, I guess, anti-kinks, which we thought would be pretty apropos to what we're talking about. So these are things that are absolute turnoffs. So
Yeah.
something that would close down the tunnel, dry up the water slide, all that kind of stuff.
Put your shit on lockdown.
Yeah. Something you're just like, you know what? It's receding up into itself and I just don't want it.
And obviously that goes both ways.
Both ways?
Well, you were all you were insinuating this is like mainly just for females.
Oh, well, okay. For men, yes. That's
Yeah.
that's what you meant for both ways. I'm like,
So it can go from like pitching a tent to a wet noodle.
yes.
Yeah.
Ah. Oh, jeez.
I feel like for most people though, a lot of it's gonna be hygiene.
That yes, but also your attitude about, not your attitude,
I
but
was
like a person's attitude. I really, really don't like cockiness.
Yeah, no.
People that there's a guy, well, not gonna name names or where he's from or whatever, but he had said to me that, you know, he thought that he was intelligent, attractive, and funny because he said these things. He's like, "Oh yeah, I'm intelligent, I'm attractive, I'm funny, blah blah blah." And I'm like, instant, like literally, you are like the ugliest person to me now.
Yeah.
I can't stand it. Like all the time, people would like pose the question, like, if you find someone who is like legitimately outwardly attractive, and
Right.
then
And like a superficial, like you just have good looks, attractive.
yeah, and then you find out that they're like a dick bag, that kind of makes them less attractive, right?
Absolutely.
Because like, and you can also find like the opposite being true. Someone that you might be outwardly homely, let's say, or someone that doesn't necessarily have like the universal quote unquote good looks or whatever, but they have this really, really attractive personality. And people joke like, "Oh, she must have a great personality."
Well,
But
yeah, but it's
a
real thing though.
it is a real thing. Like you could very much find someone attractive based on their personality. It doesn't matter like what they look like, what gender they are. You could just be attracted to their personality, to the person, rather than to their looks or
Yeah.
whatever.
Yeah, so I would say, I think those are, like, kinda, like, before you guys get intimate, things that are just, "Okay, I am attracted to this person. There's a potential with certain things play out that we could be intimate." And like you said, I mean, I think I would agree with you that it's definitely, like, your personality and who you are as a person is gonna determine if we get past just talking or going out for coffee or dinner or leading to naughty time for sure. And I
Mhm.
think we've all experienced that. I mean, I'm sure men too, of just like, this girl's dumb as a box of rocks, or she's just a fucking catty bitch. Like, no, I can't. I don't want to
Yeah.
deal with that.
Like, not every guy is gonna be like, "Yeah, well, she's a hole, so."
This'll do.
Yeah. And there is someone for everyone, but I think that there are definitely some traits that are huge turnoffs. And for me, like, personality can be definitely a huge, huge turnoff. Um, and if you put anything in my ear, I will break your fingers.
I think we discussed this before, like my feet. If you are a person with a foot fetish, we are not going to get along. There is no point of even entertaining it further than that. Mm-mm.
Yeah,
Nope, not gonna send you
can't
pictures of
even.
my feet. Don't look at my feet. If you lick my feet,
Uh,
no. I don't even wanna be friends with you anymore. I don't even wanna talk to you ever again.
yeah, you can't even joke about foot things with her.
Ugh,
Can't,
no.
cause she gets all like,
It's
no.
awful. No.
Mm.
Will's, constantly we'll be on the couch, he's like, "Take my socks off." I'm like, "No." "Rub my feet." "No." 10 years. Never once. Am I gonna be like, "Oh, yeah, baby, let me massage your feet." No. Fucking get those things away from me.
Get those vile things away from me.
No. Ugh. No, but yeah, yeah. So I think but I think there's too, like, as you start to, like, go, again, like, if obviously new couple or new experiences, if we're going out to eat and you just have weird eating habits for me, like just eating really fast or if you just seem gross while you're eating,
Mm,
it makes me wonder what other things in life that you're gross with. Like, if I have to start questioning your hygiene, it's gonna be an issue.
yeah, that is that's quite gross. It's I don't know. I think what is definitely like a no, I can't. Um,
Oh,
uh,
s
hair.
like, if they're not well groomed?
No, like I was just thinking of things that make me vomit, and it's like hair not attached to the body,
Oh.
like something like that happening if I like hair on my food. Oh God. Uh, oh God. Uh, no. I can stop. Let's talk about something different.
Yeah, no, so I think, smoking
Oh
is a
yeah.
turnoff, but I think depending on, like, what kind of smoker you are, I might be able to get around it. So meaning, like, if you're not a chain smoker, if you vape, I could care less. Um, if because I know a lot of smokers that are so hygienic with it, like, they wash their hands after, they don't try to sit there and, like, smoke in their house with all the windows closed or you know what I mean? Like, that I can get around that.
Mm.
But if you chew tobacco,
Ooh.
don't even get near. I don't even want to kiss you. Don't get near me.
I'm not
This
even
is
sure I
not
want to be your
happening.
friend,
It
honestly.
seriously, it's so disgusting. It's almost offensive to me.
I would say it is offensive to me. because everything about that habit is disgusting.
Yeah.
I oh god, I would see people, they would carry around their little spit bottle or cup. Ugh.
Ugh. And so like you're mid conversation with somebody and you're spitting in front of a human being. You're spitting
Yeah.
out your disgusting tobacco that's just floating around in your jowls. Like it's just disgusting. I hate it. It is slightly offensive. I don't want to see it. I don't care if you're Brad Pitt himself. You're immediately absolutely a vile, disgusting human being to me.
Yeah, I can't think of anyone that that's acceptable for.
And I would even have a hard time getting past the imagery and knowing that you do it. So like if you weren't for like, oh, okay, like let me get rid of it. Let me go like brush my teeth, rinse out with Listerine. Like so I don't think I could get past it because it's still there. It still happened.
There's there's too much damage done.
Yeah.
Is like I said, literally everything about that habit is vile and gross, and I it's disgusting. Like the smell is disgusting, the
Mhm.
sight is disgusting. I I you look dumb with it in,
Yeah.
with your fucking your lip all ugh. Oh my god. The fact that you have to carry something around to put the spit into
Yeah. No,
is
it's
disgusting. I don't even like spitting in general.
true.
I don't
Yeah.
like spitting in general. I don't like when you see, like, if I see a guy spitting somewhere, I don't, oh, it just grosses me out. I can get past that regular spit,
Right.
but I don't like it. Um, I'm not even a huge fan of with blowjobs with that kind of like how that spit on it. I still feel like I'm like I don't know. I don't know why. I never got past that icky yucky poo poo stage of spit.
I feel like so is that like it just I mean, obviously spitting versus saliva is like two different actions and two different things, but like generally like if there's an overflow of like saliva during naughty time, is there a point where you're like this is too much?
I don't like overly slobbery things. I can get past it like in with sex and everything like that,
Yeah.
or even with a blowjob. Like I understand it. I can do it, but I'm still like it took me a long time to get to that point where like yes, extra saliva is good with that kind of stuff, and
Yeah.
but still like sometimes like getting into it, I'm like put it back. This is something that you have to do, and then poo. Yeah, like I'm just I don't know. I
I
don't
feel
know.
like there's other techniques for that we're not going to discuss here,
Well,
but
I don't want to like full on with the microphone.
no, 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 I'm not asking you to demonstrate. I'm just saying there'll be side conversations. I feel like there's other techniques aside for just
No, yes. Yes, you
yeah.
can there's other and yes, I understand, but
Okay.
and in the heat of the moment, I can get by without making a big deal out of it,
Right.
but sometimes there's like a little pep talk that I have
Right.
to give to
I
myself and be
get it. I
like,
get it.
"All right. Okay."
I know for me talking during
Talking
sex.
during.
Yeah, don't fucking talk to me during sex.
So we've just full on gone into like turn offs during
Yeah.
during like the act.
Yeah,
Okay.
yes, I think it's fair to like turn offs of like we're just never going to have sex. This
Mhm.
is just not going to happen to okay, things are going great and then especially if it's your first time with somebody during that moment there might be little things that come up where you never even thought to discuss ahead of time where you're like, can we not
Yeah.
do that right now? Talking, don't fucking talk to me.
Mhm. I I never um I was never good with dirty talk.
Same. And dirty talks, like, I can dirty talk's a little bit different if it's just a little bit of it. I can
A brief,
brief.
momentary.
Yeah, don't always expect me to respond, though.
Yeah,
I might not.
because mm, yeah, it's not something like that's another part of sex education where like the one the one teacher um is like he's so freaking nerdy. Like he always wears these really wild and vibrant button down shirts with like suspenders
Oh
and
god.
his big weird like cargo shorts. And he's like super enthusiastic and whatever. And you find out in the second season that he and the English teacher are seeing each other,
Yeah.
and they're having sex, and she's just like, uh talk dirty to me. And he's like, I don't know what you want me to say.
Right.
She's like, call me a dirty bitch. And he's just like, uh, I'm sure you are a lovely female dog. Like he just like, and she's like, oh, okay, yeah. But they find out later that the reason why, like they got to the like why she wanted the dirty talk, and then he's just like, okay, so it's not the words, it's how you're saying the words.
Yeah.
So then it's a scene where like they're in her kitchen, and he realizes that it's not the words, it's how he says it. He's like, spatula. And he starts naming things in the kitchen, and then it cuts to them like both climaxing, screaming Baba Ganoush.
I
And
don't
it's ridiculous.
It is. I don't know. I don't know why, like, sometimes in the heat of the moment, things might be called out, which is, like, one thing, and that's fine. I believe the it's f it that's I don't know, it's just don't talk to me. And I think I think this is where it comes from. I had, like, one bad experience with that. So I
Uh-oh.
had, like, a guy that we went out on, like, a couple dates, we were talking, whatever, so, we decided to have dinner, over at I don't even think it was his place, but over at a place where it was kinda like insinuating, like, you knew unless something, like, really bad happened during that dinner, like, we were just gonna have sex. And we were
Yeah.
basically just being polite about, "Let's actually have some conversation and dinner and stuff," or at the end of the day, like, that wasn't even necessary. Like, you knew why you were there.
Yeah.
So, it an experience where he was just talking a little bit just random stuff too. It wasn't even sexual related or what we were doing, which I was kind of like, "Dude, shut up.
Yeah.
Just shut up." So, in the middle of going downtown, just stops and was like, like, "This doesn't mean that we're, like, dating, right?" Like, he chose in the middle of this to have the conversation that should have been had before we even did anything of, like, "This means nothing.
Yeah.
This is just fun time." And I'm just like, "Yes, just go back, shut up."
Fool. Why now?
Like,
Why now? Like, but like you said, I agree, like it should have been like all that should have been hashed out beforehand.
yeah.
Like why would you choose now of all
So
times?
I don't know if it dawned on him of like, "Oh, shit. What if we didn't have that conversation? And what if she thinks this means more than." So he just decided to just come up for air and have that conversation. I'm just like, yes, it's fine.
Like, bitch, please come on.
It was, yes, I think, but it was just, there was like couple other thing, like weird conversation type pieces that he had during the entire experience where I'm like, shh.
Like I think that communication is very important during um but like not like shooting the shit kind of stuff, but like almost like if you're trying to communicate something that you like or something that you don't like,
Sure, yeah,
yes, that's important.
yeah,
Like obvi if it hurts, fucking like partner no.
no, yeah,
If they're doing something that is not working, let them know.
yeah,
Um, but like that's it that that kind of communication I think is important, not like yeah, I saw on Facebook the other day that
Yep,
like
yeah. Like, I don't care what you saw 5 minutes ago.
yeah,
It's not what we're doing here.
that's not why. Why? Why now?
But I think good communication just in general, regardless of what your kinks are, is essential to a
Mhm.
good sexual experience, and that is key to the BDSM world, to have a good experience and to trust your partners, is if you can't have that kind of communication, open trust, this is not going to work for you. So some of the misconceptions, I know several people that are in the lifestyle and that have been in the lifestyle for like 20 plus years now. So I kind of want to say, and I know like a tiny bit about some of the stuff, but not a lot. So, I just started asking them like basic misconceptions about it. And the one biggest misconception is that it's dirty. And when I say dirty, I mean like, you know, you, you're going to get diseases type dirty.
Yeah.
Which I mean, in any sexual experience, but especially this one, of course, there's a possibility. But that it's dirty and then it's just all about sex. So it's
Mhm.
just all about kinky sex, like orgy style, everyone's screwing. And that's not the case in most cases. That's not it.
Mhm. I think the overarching theme for any like a lifestyle that kind of involves anything like that is like communication is really up there. Respect and consent.
Yes.
Consent, I think, is first and foremost probably. And yeah, they're all pretty equal, I would say, because like you can't do any of these things without properly communicating what you want.
Yeah.
But I think that's like they ended up like that's the most important thing. One of the most important things is like you have to communicate what you want because obviously, how is anyone supposed to know what you want if you don't communicate it clearly? Or how is anyone supposed to know what you don't want if you don't communicate it clearly?
Yeah. And unfortunately, like I mean, the BDSM lifestyle is risky. I mean, I'm gonna call a spade a spade. It can be dangerous. Like if you don't have that, like you said, appropriate communication and not just generals. Like you can't talk in generals. You need to be very specific of
Hmm.
what your limits are, what you're into, what you're comfortable with, what you aren't. Um, Starting slow and building, your trust and your communication up with your partner. It's not going to happen overnight. You can't just dive into it. Even if you are experienced and you've been in the lifestyle for a long time, if you're with someone new, you have to. And typically, both of you have been in the lifestyle for a long time, but you're just new to each other.
Hmm.
You kind of know the gist. You're like, you know what you need to discuss like pretty quick. So that might move along a little bit faster than someone who's like coming into it for the first time.
Yeah, like dipping their toes in the water, see like if this is something that I want.
Right. But I think there's so many miscommunications too, as far as like, oh, well, they're just all sadists and they're all masochist, or it's the same type of kink across the board, and like literally could spend probably 5 different episodes on just kinks in the BDSM lifestyle in general.
Oh God, yeah.
Um, it varies so much, but I think the overall arcing umbrella term for both a submissive and a dominant is just control and just listening and just
Hmm.
being told what to do, and that is your overall general kink.
I think one big misconception is that the dom actually has all the control when it's really the sub.
Yeah. Yep.
The sub says what stays and what goes.
Yep.
Like they're the ones that is like they're ultimately in control, really, because yes, you might be in a submissive position, but you say
You
where
say
the
when to
lines are.
stop.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yep. So I think that's a really good point. But again, that's already pre-discussed and that's already predetermined. But yeah,
Hmm.
you're right. I mean, if you know it gets to that point, you absolutely have that control of like you shut it down.
Hmm.
And if you are in a good relationship that has a kind of respect in those boundaries, which you need, then there's no question about it. Like you should never question with your person. If I say, "Hey, like lighten up a little bit or we're done, like I'm at my max," there should be not a second where you wonder, are they going to stop this time?
Hmm.
Cuz that's a whole different you're in a whole different world right there. If that ever crosses your mind, like, you probably should end that
Yeah,
interaction or that relationship.
that's it's not a good one to be in
No.
because, like, I feel like it's the same thing with your like, even if you're in a vanilla couple,
Yeah.
like, if there's that question of, "Would they? Would they not?" That's also not a good sign.
Yeah. So, I mean, I think you need to be just you as an individual going into this, you need to know you need to be very honest with yourself and black and white with yourself of what your limits are before you can even have that conversation with somebody else.
Mhm.
But, for new people, it was suggested, like, going to FetLife, it's just an online community, and just asking somebody, the ins and outs of it. If you're going to a club for the first time and you want to see what's up, and, you might find a couple different people interesting, or somebody might approach you to ask the other people around before you even do anything. It's just like, hey, is this guy or girl, like, what are they about?
Yeah, a
You
lot
know?
of, because communication is so big in that community, word of mouth
Uh
is
huh.
also goes a long way. That's how most people will vet other people
Yep.
because, like, the, luckily, for the most part, the shitty people in the lifestyle are found out very quickly and word spreads like, "Hey, don't play with this person."
Yeah.
Like,
You'll
they're
be ostracized pretty quick.
mhm.
So, but I think, if you were in a healthy environment and a healthy club, drugs aren't running rampant, alcohol isn't running rampant. It's actually a very clean,
Mhm.
strict, like, if they even allow alcohol in the premises, it's like a 2 drink strict minimum.
Mhm.
Because again, like, being intoxicated in any form is dangerous.
Yeah.
You might have your limit and your partner might know your limit, but if you're tipsy, obviously your limit could go a little bit farther, and that's not good. Hopefully your partner knows, like, hey, listen, I know this is like you're definitely at your limit. You just don't know it right now.
Yeah. You hope.
Yeah. But I think there's that again, just going back to the main theme and the main umbrella there is control. So that could mean anything from um your submissive just likes that kind of control to the point of their kink is just being told what to wear, what to say, where to sit, what to eat, just literally having that kind of control where you don't have to make a decision for yourself.
Mhm.
Is kind of where that kink is, and it could just be as simple as that. So there is no your sex might actually be pretty vanilla. You might be told to do like what position to get in, stuff like that during sex, but it's not necessarily whips and chains and
Yeah.
branding, or it could go that far,
Yeah.
you know?
It could, like, be as vanilla or rocky road as whatever you wanna call
Moose tracks? No.
it. But, it's I had a point and it literally left my head.
No, no.
Fuck. Um, ooh, okay, I remember my point. The psychology behind all of this is very fascinating
Yeah.
because a lot of people will develop fetishes at an earlier age, like pubescent
Okay.
age,
Right.
and, um, you kind of there's a reasoning normally behind why someone might have a certain kink or a certain fetish, why someone might wanna be dominated in the bedroom because, like, they might be very submissive out in the real world. They're like, "I have to be very meek, mild out in my professional life, so in the bedroom, I want someone like, I wanna take charge,"
Right. And
you
and
know?
vice versa. Usually submissives are people who are tired of, maybe full-time moms that are tired of running the house and tired of making sure everyone's taken care of, making all the decisions, CEOs, like somebody who, like you said, has that control of literally every other aspect of their life, and they just don't want to have to. They want to have that power taken away from them for a minute.
Yeah.
Oh,
Just decide for me. Make me do s just tell me what to do.
yeah.
Tell me what to do.
And
I
on
can't make a decision to save my life, so that's why I want people to tell me what to do.
um, I think I go back and forth with it. So, I think sometimes like I end up having a lot put on my plate and having to make, a lot of decisions, and sometimes I am very indecisive. So sometimes I like having small choices made for me, but I'm also a control freak at the same. Like I'm an enigma. I like both. I don't know
Yeah.
what to tell you on that one. It all depends on the hour and the day.
Yeah, and you don't have to you could be a switch though too. You don't have to
Yeah,
be one or the other.
that's true.
You don't
It's
like
a
it's not like you're one and done.
right.
That's what a switch is, right?
Yes,
I'm
it
pretty sure.
sounds right.
I'm pretty sure that's what it is. If anyone knows these things, like,
Correct
and
us.
we're speaking out of turn, just fucking tell us.
I think the misconception that again, like you are either a sadist or you're a masochist, and that's not always true.
No.
Because again, like your kink might have nothing to even do with that. But it's typical if you are, if you're a sadist, you're a dom. If you're a masochist, you're a sub. I mean that pretty much goes hand in hand.
Mhm.
But even with that, so I mean that being said, again, like sometimes that has nothing to do with sex. I mean, your sexual encounter might not be intercourse. Might not have anything to do with that. Like if especially if you're a masochist or you're a sadist, like your kink and you could get off of just by flogging someone or whipping someone or needle play. Like there's so many different aspects of that that's like I said, has more psychological standpoint of it and stamina than the actual like intercourse.
Yeah, doesn't have to always do with penetration.
No. Or even just even like the sexual type stuff of foreplay. Like sometimes it's not even like, there's I heard a story about one female who I think was like an executive, like had a lot of power at work or whatever, and she would just hire a guy to come over and just basically beat the crap out of her, like flog her like pretty intensely. Like what you and I would be like, oh my God, like how do you enjoy this?
Mhm.
And then that'd be it. She's like, okay, get out. We're done here. Like no kissing, no hugging, like literally nothing. It was just come in, beat the crap out of me, and I'm gonna go about my day. And that's just what she's into, and that does it for her. And there's some type of release in that for her
Mhm.
to make it her thing and to make it worthwhile for her. And the other person needs to accept that like that better be it for you because that's all you're getting out of this deal.
Yeah, and that's the thing you like with an exchange like that, you would communicate everything clearly beforehand. Like, okay, these are the expectations. This is what's going to go down. This is my safe word.
Right.
This
Yeah.
is my hard pass, meaning like we're not going to go past this. It's not going to go into this area over here. You can't touch this or whatever. And you communicate all these things normally beforehand, and then you get down to the nitty-gritty, and then once the transaction's done, it's done.
Yeah. You need to be able to like turn it off and on pretty quick with those kind of
Yeah.
interactions. I
But
mean,
there's such a thing like aftercare
yes.
too. That is very important.
Yeah. That and again that it's pretty actually I think common for a lot of people who want their aftercare to be basically held like pretty tight, by their dom to know like that everything's fine, they're not going anywhere. It could be that a lot of like, naps, cuddles, warm blankets. And then some of the aftercare too is important because, if you're engaging in this type of play, especially like really intense play, you're gonna get like an incredible rush of endorphins and dopamine, and then that can crash real quick.
Mhm.
Which could cause like, an hour or two just feeling just really depressed. Which can happen in a lot of different scenarios, like not just being in the BDSM community, but anytime you're in a situation where you have this massive, massive increase of serotonin, dopamine, endorphins just rushing out all at once, more so like more than the average of our brain can produce,
Mhm.
it's going to crash because your
Yeah.
brain can't keep up producing at that level.
Yeah.
Which is why aftercare also is very important to make sure that, if that does happen, you have that support there and you have somebody to kind of like, listen, it's going to be okay. Like, we're going to be fine.
Mhm.
If you need a bath, if you need, again, just cuddles, food, whatever, like that's there.
Yeah. I
Well,
feel like my life is just all aftercare. I need cuddles. I need a bath. I'm very needy. I don't know. It's just me.
it's
That's my
okay.
kink.
It's okay.
I like bubble baths, food,
Like a nice bubble bath.
bubble bath. But yeah, that's okay. My life is aftercare. Go on.
That's, I'm sitting there thinking, I feel like there's probably a general, like a whole other kink just for just for bubble baths and just being pampered.
Oh, yeah. I
Yeah.
don't even know what that would be called.
There's a word out there for it somewhere. I mean, I know there's oh, the kink is like right on the tip of my tongue, but individuals who their kink is just letting somebody else spend their money.
Oh, shit.
You know what I'm talking about though, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
But I
oh.
see like some of the people that I've seen talk about that though were like that's a type of dominatrix they are. Almost kind of goes not hand in hand, but I feel like it's in the same vein of being like humiliated.
Yeah.
So like some of the girls that I've seen talk about that, it's like, like basically you're a piece of shit. You don't know what to do with this. Like giving your fucking money and like and then showing them and rubbing it in their face of like what they spent their hard on money on. And that's just what the guy or gal gets off on is just somebody taking away that kind of control, spending it, and then shoving it in their face. It's kind of like a humiliation kink more so than anything else.
Yeah. I feel like I could definitely spend someone's money. I know I could.
Yeah, like, yeah, you could.
I, you know, doesn't have to be anything special.
No.
As Steve walks by, he's
Like,
like, "Yep,
she sure can.
I love you, baby." Okay, you don't have to love me back. It's fine. Thank you. He said it back for those who couldn't hear. That's my thing. If I tell you I love you, say it back. I don't care who you are. You are my friend. You are my lover. Whatever. Oh, I don't like the word lover.
No?
No,
Why?
I don't know. Lover just sounds so weird.
Weird how? Like, degrading weird?
I don't know. Antiquated? I don't know. I just never really was like, I would never call someone my lover.
Huh.
Like when I like talk about someone's lover, I'm being like satirical or ironic, or I'm talking about like Henry VIII or something like that. I'm talking about someone who like an old like in history that, was married, but they had a lover or
Right.
something like that. They had a mistress. But like
Huh.
I would never call Steve my lover.
I mean, I don't think I would use that term for Will either, but at the same time, like, if somebody like, if I were to hear somebody say that about their partner or whatever, like, I don't think that would like, I wouldn't be like, "Why would you use that term?" Like, I wouldn't question it. Like, it
In
doesn't
in
bother me.
in my head I would go like, "Ugh." Like it gives me the heebs. I don't know. The Wiggins. I'm not
The way
sure. I don't know why. But like I would be like, yes, my boo thing, my my boyfriend.
I think, like, in the BDSM world, there is, like, your master and slave, which is a whole different, like, subcategory and whole different level of
Yeah.
that. It takes it kinda almost past, like, your dominant and your submissive.
Those are the
Mhm.
people that have like cages under their beds, right?
Not no, not necessarily. I mean, a slave could literally just be you literally in every aspect of your life 24/7, so not just in the bedroom, but outside of the bedroom too. Your dom or your master has say of what you do.
Oh.
So the very literal sense of it, the word. And apparently that's kind of debated within the community of like um how far they can take it essentially, like what exactly it means to be a slave. Some people take it as a very literal sense of the term, up until the point of like, hey, if they want to end this and they're walking away, then obviously they can just go.
Yeah.
Um, and some still say, well, no, there's still like a limit and this still needs to be discussed of like what they're going to do and what your master can control. So there's still like some debate. I think if you ask someone in the community, you're probably going to get like five different answers based on who you ask. But that bothers me. Like using the term like I'm never going to call somebody my master.
Yeah. I will not use the term daddy.
That's creepy. Yeah.
That to me that is creepy because I call my actual father daddy, and that I don't that to me I don't
No.
that
That's
is
is that like a
that's a
big
turn
hard
off.
turn off? Yeah.
That's a hard no for me. Don't don't call me your little girl.
Oh no. It's just
Don't
very pedo.
Yeah, I'm not. That's not. Mm-mm.
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 No, I don't know. I think for me, it's just, I mean, like being fully immersed into the lifestyle, I don't think is something that's for me personally. It's not something I don't think I could really do. Um, but so I think for me, like, there's never going to be a point where I will let somebody have that much power over me and control over me. But
No.
at the same time, I don't think I could really, for somebody who's, into being a submissive or slave, I don't think I also have it in me to provide what they want as far as being like a dominant either.
Yeah.
Because there's definitely times where I could be, and then there are times where I'm like, I don't want that kind of responsibility. Like, make up your own fucking mind. I don't care. Like,
Yeah, I'm very wishy-washy, so I would be like, do it or don't. I don't fucking care.
yeah. But I think for me that like I just that term, even just hearing somebody else who is completely okay with that and that's what they want and that's their lifestyle, hearing somebody call their partner their master bothers me so much. And like I know that's just my own personal thing. Like clearly they're okay with that and that's what they like and that's their lifestyle, but it just gets under my skin. I hate it.
Yeah, I'm. That's me with daddy.
I think I'm right there with you too on that one as well. Yeah.
I just, I don't, I don't get it. That incest is not for me.
Shouldn't be for anybody.
It shouldn't be, but you will find that. That's the
Oh
thing. Like
yeah.
in in these kinds of lifestyles or whatever, you are going to find people that have kinks that are. It's gonna
Just
be something that it's gonna be a hard pass for you,
yep.
but like that's the thing. Like I don't know. Like are there certain kinks that everyone just kind of universally is like no?
There's gotta be.
Because I've seen some things.
Yeah.
I've heard people talk that they're like, "Oh yeah, my brother's the best daddy." Like,
Oh god,
oh, everything
what?
about that is gross.
I don't. There's got to be in the BDSM world, and obviously, like I think obviously there's certain kinks and lifestyles that don't fall into the BDSM category.
No, I mean,
So but I mean, so I think I guess it all depends on like which lifestyle or kink that you're involved in. There's got to be probably a hard pass for certain people or something that's rare, like only like a subcategory of these people within the BDSM community, like this one kink.
mhm.
It's, like, rare, most people don't like it. I'm sure there is, and that's actually a question I didn't ask.
Yeah. I don't know how well all the kinks play with each other, like BDSM, and then there's swingers and there's poly.
You
Um,
see that in
like
that
those
community.
those kind of like can mesh well,
Yeah,
and then I feel like there's fringe kinks.
like furries.
Yes, I that I don't get
I don't either.
as well.
Mm-mm.
I don't the yiffing and the scritching and
What?
the fur piles and stuff like that.
The yiffing and the are you making words up right now?
I
What
am
is
not.
that? What does that mean?
I think, and if you know or are a furry listening to this, and if I am misspeaking, I'm sorry. But I think yiffing is like a grinding slash humping kind of thing.
Okay.
I know yiffing is a thing. I don't necessarily know what it is. That is a term that they use, yiffing and scritching, I believe.
I
Ironically, I learned that from CSI, but I have seen it hashtagged on the internet, so I think it's a thing.
I feel like when I hear yiffing, I feel like it's just a weird mating call. That's what I think of. Like a yiff! Like it's the first thing that comes into my mind. It's just like it's a noise and not an I don't know.
The fuck? How does it go again? How would one mate
I can't.
call that?
Like a mating call of just like yiff. That's what comes to mind when I hear the term yiff.
I don't know. Do we have furry listeners? I don't think we do. But if we do, just correct us. And I'm not trying to kink shame anyone. I don't want I personally would not do it and I don't get it. But if you that's what you do you if that's what you do.
Yeah.
Same thing with any of this stuff. Not trying to kink shame or slut shame or anything like that. Um we're all obviously about like a dialogue and having a conversation and communicating about all this kind of stuff. So,
Yeah, it's some of it's just education, but it's just I think again everyone has our preferences and our preference and not and lack of understanding. I just don't get what the how people can be attracted to that or get off on that. Like I just don't get it. There's nothing wrong
mhm.
with it. I just don't. It's not for me. I don't understand
I
it.
also don't get cutting, like, or what you said, needle play earlier.
Needle play.
So yeah,
And when I
stuff
say
like
needle
that.
play, and I'm sure there is a kink for this as well. It's not like hypodermic needles. It's like legit needles of like
Like a sewing
piercing the
needle.
skins. Yeah,
Yeah.
sewing. Branding is well. I think branding goes into a whole different. Like if you are under that subcategory or that deeper lifestyle of like master and slave, people like I know somebody who has been branded.
Like cattle.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, all right.
So that's a
Okay.
whole different. I mean, obviously that's something I could never do. And some of the stuff, I mean, some of it interests me, and like there is definitely a part of me where I might be open to certain things, but not as far as the lifestyle and the communication of like you are my dominant, you are submit, like that whole relationship with your partner dynamic is something I don't have the personality for.
I think I I like learning about things just to learn things. Um, Not like I guess that in a way all this stuff like intrigues me in that way. Like I like learning about it.
Hmm.
Um, just to be like, huh, okay, cool. But I don't know. I don't know. I feel like I could maybe in another life be a dominatrix, but I don't know.
I could see you doing it.
Like, like I don't. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
But again, like I think a lot of people would assume a dominatrix, like who is like a professional dominatrix, that she's just a prostitute.
Not the no.
No, not the
No.
case. It doesn't like they don't. Um, they're not one and the same.
No.
Um, there is a show that has very short episodes. Oh God, Bondage, I think it's called on Netflix.
Yeah.
It's about a girl who is a professional dominatrix, and she actually does not have sex with any of her clients.
Right.
She's just there to dominate them. So doesn't like dominating someone does not necessarily mean that you are having sex with them.
Right.
You are just dominating them however they want to be dominated.
Again, it all goes back to it's more of a psychological
Mhm.
standpoint. Like it's all just up in your head. I mean, from the start to finish, it is just all psychological kind of kink, more so that can work. It's a psychological standpoint that can come out in physical traits as well, and like physical actions
Yeah.
and behaviors. But at the end of the day, what makes it work and what makes you like kind of get off on it or that it is your kink is just all mental.
Mhm.
So it's kind of like we were saying before with sex education. If it's just how that guy was saying certain things, it's kind of the same thing where like, I could go in and somebody would want to be told what to do and be, given directive. And I could say, all right, take your pants off. That's not going to do it for somebody. Like,
Mhm.
it's just so blase, but
Yeah.
it's more of a psychological standpoint of having that kind of control and that communication with somebody,
Yeah.
that makes it work.
Mhm.
So,
But I guess like with all of these things, it's just communicating what you want. And part of that is like I know some people if you're trying to get into the lifestyle and like trying to figure out what you want, there are people that will be patient with you and try to
hmm
help you like navigate the waters cuz like it's all like it can seem overwhelming, but normally from from what I understand, like, everyone is they can be very, very patient and very understanding,
Yeah.
and they will answer your questions. What they don't like is people just assuming a lot of things.
Just assuming and then just trying to, like, just jump in.
Yeah, just literally going balls to the wall and like, "No, no, 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 keep your balls there for a minute."
I
Like, there are certain rules and regulations that we have to go over, and
think there's a lot of etiquette
there is.
and
Aha!
there's a lot of etiquette in the lifestyle, and I know, you as far as somebody who's in that kinda lifestyle, like, you will find the most respectful people, like, respectful and just polite people ever.
And normally really hygienic too.
Yes. So, and again, these are, like, if you're new to the lifestyle and this is something that you wanna entertain and, you go to a club, those are things to look at in the club, right? So, looking at to see if people are observing, if they're observing politely and appropriately and giving enough distance to somebody who is in the middle of a play. If you see people that are kind of just, again, just jumping into it or kind of butting into someone's play, that is like a huge faux pas. Like, that's just something that you don't do
Mhm.
without permission. And somebody else, who's ever dominating or playing with somebody, if that person's okay with just somebody that's not in their wheelhouse, or somebody that they don't know, like, stepping in, that's, like, again, conversation that the submissive needs to give approval for. That's something that
Mhm.
the dom needs to, like, stop and, hey, like, do you wanna jump in on this kind of thing, which typically just doesn't happen.
Yeah.
It's typically just you're an observer if that's your thing and you want to just check it out and see what they're doing. You can't just get an ass slap in there. Can't just run up like all willy nilly and just slap and run. It's just not. That's just
Yeah.
so rude.
No, they
You just don't
will
do that.
like you'll get the tides will turn real quick
Yeah.
on someone like that. So like there are like everyone can have their role, or you can, you know, you can just watch. Like if you could just be the voyeur.
Yep.
If that's your thing, like you like only watching and not participating, or if you're watching to like figure out what you like,
Right.
then there's that aspect too. Like you don't have to, and it's not necessarily recommended to just dive in all
No.
at once.
No, but like you said though, I mean, there's definitely plenty of people in the lifestyle who will be patient enough to teach you and kind of take you by the hand and show you like what the rules are, the etiquettes, what to look for. Again, so like if you're new to it, you're going into a club, especially by yourself,
Hmm.
before you even really know anybody to even take you by the hand and do that. Those are the things to look for cleanliness. Like if you are using a flogger or a whip on someone or needle play, and somebody else wants to use it after, if you want to move on to another person, like they better be wiping that stuff down. Like everything should be sanitized and cleaned before moving to the next person. So if you're not seeing that kind of stuff,
Hmm.
that's a big red flag.
Yeah.
If you were going in and someone approaches you and says, hey, like, listen, you're really attractive. Like, would you want to play with me? Which would be considered a top and a bottom, which I know that term is used differently and means different things in different communities.
Yes.
In the BDSM world, it's a very informal type of play. So that's not your dom, you are not that person's sub. This is just kind of like a quick couple hour funsies. And it's typically again, like you sit down, what do you want to do just for tonight? Like you guys aren't discussing your overall, like, this is how I want every interaction to be. This is what I'm all about. This is kind of just, hey, this is what I'm in the mood for tonight. You look like you're here with nobody else. Like, do you want to do XYZ? Here's my hard start. Here's my hard cutoff. And this is just for the night
Hmm.
kind of relationship. But if someone approaches you and says, "Hey, like, listen, you're really attractive. You're here with no one. Like, do you want to play?" And as a newbie, like, you get nervous and you just say yes. That more experienced person should be okay. Let's go sit down over here. We're going to talk about it. Like, if they just go, "All right, like, let's go," that should be a huge red flag.
Hmm.
That should never happen.
That's normally like a red flag in all the different like across the board, like with the different lifestyles. Like we said, there's swingers and there's poly and all that kind of stuff. Like there shouldn't really ever be someone who's just like, "Yep, dive in."
Yeah,
Like an experienced person that's like, "Okay."
yeah, and
Like
that's
there should be a lot of communication beforehand as well with anything, even in like the vanilla world. Like there should be like intention should be clear from the get go.
yeah. There's those like some other people too will have a good. I mean, obviously, like, again, safe word is not like a joking, like, it's a real thing.
Yeah,
You know what
it's
I mean?
It's there for a reason.
Yes. But in club environments, I've heard a couple of people because it can get kind of loud. You know what I mean? So sometimes they'll have a backup just in case you can't hear your partner.
Mhm.
Especially if you're using things like the ball and gag and stuff like that. I mean, you need another
Oh, yeah. It has to be like
indicator.
a safe gesture or something like that.
Yeah, a safe gesture. I've heard of some people that will use if you're not doing some type of play where like you can't use you should always be able to use your hands to some extent. Will hold different colored like ribbons. So like yellow could mean, hey, slow up a bit. Like you're doing fine, but just ease up, and red could just be a hard stop. So, and that's something that your partner can visually see. So that way, if you are doing like ball and gag type stuff, or if it is just loud, and they're kind of concerned about, "Oh, what if I don't hear you?" That's just a nice, just way of just hard. Oh, we're done.
Mhm.
You know. So there's so many different, but again, though, like I think a lot of people have the misconception that these are like sadistic, malicious, just dirty, evil people that just want to go out there and just hurt the other person just for shits and giggles. And that's just not the case. Like these, like, again, these are the most like cleanly, respectful, polite people that you will ever meet, and a
Mhm.
community that's just always so very welcoming and always checking in with their partner and always making sure like everyone's having a good time and is safe. Out of like, so like I would probably be more comfortable going into like a BDS club and not being harassed versus going to like a nightclub and having a couple of
Oh my
drinks.
god, yeah.
Like I would definitely be like, you're gonna get people approach you, but it's gonna be very, hey, like, yes, no, cool, cool, no, cool. Like, have a good night, enjoy yourself
Yeah.
versus, why not? I bought you a drink.
Yeah.
What the fuck? Like, I would definitely probably be more comfortable if I wanted to just go out and just chill and maybe experience some new things or witness some new things. Like, probably be more comfortable there, not being harassed and having somebody like make an inappropriate pass at me than I would at like your corner bar.
Yeah. You can just go and enjoy yourself or like get to, it's kind of like some clubs offer food, so it's like dinner and a show. As
Again,
long
like,
as you're respectful.
yeah.
That's really the only thing. If you're not
So,
respectful, they'll bounce you real
yep.
quick.
See, again, so you have a better chance of having more appropriate consensual communication at a club like that if that's what you are comfortable with experiencing and that's something that you're interested in
Mhm.
versus again like your corner bar.
Yeah.
So I think that's where like the misconception is as well is just that everyone's just this crazy sexed crazy demon. It's like just gonna come out and just get you whether you want it or not.
Yeah, like the hormone monster.
Yeah. That's just not the case. So but like I said, this is just a very, very general, very basic
Like
overview.
blanket umbrella, like
Yeah.
overview of the lifestyle. There's other lifestyles, obviously.
There's so much more
And
too,
there's more
even
like you'd have to do like a series and get really in depth and obviously do more um even more research because there's
mhm.
so many different avenues and nuances and everything to not just this lifestyle but others.
Yeah.
So like just take that with a grain of salt and but I think that we did cover the most important aspects which were
Mhm.
communication, consent and respect.
Yeah.
And that it's like the misconceptions that you have, that's what they are. They are
Yeah.
misconceptions.
And if you are interested, I know we had mentioned this site earlier, but FetLife is probably a really good spot to start.
It's like Facebook for the
The
fetish lifestyle.
yeah.
It's
Um
pretty self-explanatory, honestly.
yeah. I mean, it is, but it has like, again, if you're interested in it, you can reach out to different people that are in your city to kind of know where to go, what to
Mhm.
do, what to say. If you get like a good online friend here or there, like somebody to go with you who knows the area.
Mhm.
So, yeah, if you are interested, look them up. It's a good spot to start.
Check it out. All right. Well, with all that being said, we're gonna close out this episode. Okay.
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 Hmm.
Well, we if you are watching this on YouTube, you can like and subscribe. If you're listening on Spotify, you can follow us on there. We are also on Google Podcasts. We have Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, and you can keep up to date with all of our shenanigans on that. So, until next time, be kind, compassionate, and we'll love you.
Goodbye.
Goodbye.